Welcome to my first video on what works for me. Today I'm going to look at the little baggy technique. I got this wonderful tip from Michelle of Dynamic Mosaic Supplies in Newcastle, Australia, when she did a workshop hosted by Rachel of Groovy Glass in Canberra. This is for silicone glue and how to use the glue without making an incredibly terrible mess. Select a bag that's about this size because you don't want to have lots and lots of glue in a little bag that's potentially going to go off, and just do what you need. I do 2 hefty squirts from the silicone gun, and that's generally enough for me, and then I go on with other things. This is a Ziploc bag. You can seal it for overnight if you want to. I prefer not to, just to be sure that there's no impact on the glue or its ability to adhere. We start by cutting the tiniest little hole in one corner. Don't make it too big, otherwise you'll have too much glue coming out and potentially waste it. You may want a bigger hole if you're going to use this technique with thin set, as it's much thicker and you need to squeeze out way more than you would with a silicone glue. So open up the bag and pop in the big gun. Give it a good squirt down there. I'm doing 2 squirts today, and you'll be amazed how far this glue goes. Then give it a good twist, and you twist it until you get down to a nice manageable little squirty tube. You can see the glue coming out there on the end. Nice and small. You're not going to waste too much and get excess glue all over the place. I'm using this wonderful little Lazy Susan, which I got very, very cheaply at Aldi for my work, so you can just spin it around to wherever you need to be. It's just fabulous. I'm taking one of my Tessa and putting a little squish of glue on there. Do a little wriggly worm, and then place it where you need it to go. How easy is that? Same for your little square tiles. I do a little square and a dot in the middle, and we're good to go. I've already measured out the Tessa to make sure it's going to fit in the space, so I don't have to worry too much about jiggling and continuously moving everything. Here we go, a little bit more here. If I do get this glue all over my fingers, I just wipe it off with some turps and then go and wash my hands and put some moisture on my hands so they don't get too dry. It's also good practice to read up on all the protective gear you need when you're working with silicone glue. I'm outside on my back veranda today, so I don't need to worry too much about airflow. Okay. So one last look at the spacing. I just need to move them all a little bit to the left, even it out so it looks like the rest of it. It all fits in and makes a lovely even border. And because I like straight, really easy technique is to use one of these little tongue depressors or paddle pop sticks, which you can get at op shops and little crafty areas. I just pop it up against the edge of the board and then just push the tiles or whatever you were using against the edge That's if you want it to line up with the absolute edge of your board. Or I do make this little tool here that's got a gap where I can use it and push it against it to move it in a little, which gives you extra room for your grout, depending on the look that you want when you're finished. So how easy is that? I've got no dirt on my hands, no mess. The only way to go, the little baggy technique. Thank you. I hope you find that this has been helpful.